Well, that next year, '98, you guys dropped your second album, Still Standing.
Still standing.
Black Ice featuring Outkast, was that the biggest song off the album?
Possibly. It's just depending on who you're talking to. To us, like we had never seen when we dropped Get Up They Don't Dance No More, if you think about it, it was the beginning of the crunk era. When that record came on, people tore up the club. Then you had Triple Six Mafia tear up the club. Then you hear Here Come Lil Jon. It was like it was an energy with that record that was about being crunk. Now, as far as like when we dropped Black Ice, that record went national because now you have Outkast involved at that time. And yes, that record is kind of like one of our biggest records off that record. Like Still Standing was a beautiful record for us because we was able to really show people that we was better than just one album. In the music business, it's not about your first album, it's about your second album. So, when a lot of people got lazy because they got accepted on their first album, their second album wasn't no good. And we always knew that the second album is the album that tells the audience and tells the industry that you might be here to stay. So it was important.
Well, that next year, '99, you dropped your third album, World Party.
Yes, that's when shit started getting crazy.
Get Rich to This, that was my jam on that.
Get Rich is that was the first record that blew on the West for us. That was the first record that Goodie Mob was not just in the hood with the gangsters. We had finally reached the radio. That was our biggest commercial album. What's so funny, a lot of our core fans, like, I don't really like that record. I'd be like, yo, I don't know why. Like, we was doing something different. But it was crazy to us because as soon as we dropped the record, we sold 800,000 the first month. That record went platinum damn near out the gate. And we never toured on that record. That's because at that time, we dropped Get Rich to This. LA Reid and Babyface sells Laface in the middle of our record. We go from having a record coming in the bass to nothing overnight. So after Get Rich came out, it really kind of left us up in the air because, again, Laface is closing downtown Atlanta and Buckhead, and LA's going to Arista, or going to run a record label in New York. So it kind of put us in a very awkward situation. And LA offered me a deal and he offered CeeLo a deal. We both took the deals. I took my deal, but I just felt funny because I felt like if we both put a record out at that time, in my mind, I was like, it'll never be another Goodie Mob album. Because really at this point, we're being pitted against each other to see which one is going to be just going to sell. You know what I mean? And at that time, I just felt like, yo, you know what? It was the new emergence of great artists like Ludacris. And I was like, yo, let me back out because I don't do it like that. So let me back out. And Luda kind of took that whole space up. CeeLo came out with his solo album. I went to Koch, opened up Goodie Mob Records. We dropped a Goodie Mob album on Koch Records. I dropped my solo record, which was, Steppin Out with Sleepy Brown, top 40 independent record. So for me personally, I survived. You know what I mean? The next thing I know, I'm on the bus with Nelly. I go do Sweatsuit. That's 8 million, 9 million with Grills. Me and Ali do another deal with Universal. We dropped the Kinfolk album that does almost $250,000. And we on tour all over the world with Nelly. So, that whole time was just, it was a blur because I'm thrust out into this world and this industry that without a base.
Well, yeah. I mean, wasn't it after World Party that CeeLo left the group to go solo?
Yes.
And I remember when I interviewed Cujo, he said, I can't be fake. I was upset when CeeLo left Goodie Mob.
True.
Was everyone else upset like Cujo? Or was
yeah,
it
everybody was upset. Yeah. It was just the way that it happened and the way it was done. We got a tour with Black Eyed Peas, House of Blues tour, Low Doesn't Come. And that's when it started. It started with a Power 105 show that we had to come to LA and do a Super Bowl party with Get Rich. We had put an artist named Backbone on the record. Backbone did not show up to go to LA to do the record. He wanted to go to the Super Bowl with the Falcons in Miami. So this your big opportunity, and you want to go Super Bowl. So understand this pissed off a member of my group. He gets off the plane. He pissed off. Next time it's time to go on tour. He like, you know what? LA just gave me a deal. I'm cool. And man, Goodie Mob, we lost that deal with William Morris. So it was kind of like all the way back starting over. You know, going to deal with Koch, Alan Grumlott, trying to let him see the importance of having a Goodie Mob. I bring him a record with 3,000 produced and on the record. He only wanted $50,000. This record could have made millions for him, but he didn't understand the value. So I came with Sleepy Brown. We still had a top 40 record, and I kept Goodie Mob alive during that time. So it was just a place of growth, a place of trying to figure out where you are in this business, and it was a time for us that we had to understand exactly how we was gonna stay and eat. So it was a growing process for me, but one I needed.
Well, yeah. I mean, in 2003, you dropped a solo album, Mutant Mind Frame, which had Steppin Out on it. And I remember that same year, that's when Outkast dropped Speaker Box.
Yeah.
And The Love Below. And I Love the Way You Move with Big Boy and Sleepy Brown was somewhat of a similar record to Steppin Out, right? I mean, in terms of the overall...
It was totally. I did Steppin Out. Me and Sleepy did Steppin Out. We took it to Stankonia. Big heard it. And then you had the emergence of I Like the Way You Move. And
right.
At that time, him having the actual system behind his record, it turned into a monster.
Yeah, I mean the video didn't hurt either. The video was the video was nice, especially from a male perspective.
It turned into a monster. It was like,
yes.
But I mean, at the same time too, when you looking at it, it's like, hey man, this Sleepy Brown, this our OG, both of our OGs. This is Organized Noise. Hey man, we can't help what the people love. And then at the same time, Koch just wasn't dealing with the same kind of budget that the guys were dealing with LA. So. I did as much as I could do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, because on that same album, that's when Andre had Hey Ya, which was a diamond record. So like that's all getting kind of pushed up to the top along with everything. So it's kind of hard to compete against something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't no way to compete against it. That's why I had to go ahead and take my ass on over there to St. Louis and get with old Nelly them. Yeah. And then, it was cool. I did. That was just such an amazing time, Vlad, because what people don't understand, even in that time, Goodie Mob had gotten back together to start to record a new album. And just like we sitting here talking, we recorded like two or three new records, and Danger Mouse just happened to send CeeLo some records while we was in the studio. So while we in the studio, he was like, yo, Danger Mouse just sent me some records, man. I met Danger. You know Danger from Atlanta? I said, I ain't even know Danger from Atlanta. He said, Danger Mouse from Atlanta. I said, okay. So he goes in there, he puts the thing in, and he said, I like this song right here. He goes into the studio. Our engineer, Graham, at the time, he was like, well, just, put your idea down. He sung Crazy down one time. Straight.
Wow.
We said, okay, all right, see y'all tomorrow. He sent it to London, to Danger Mouse. He comes back to the studio about 3, 4 o'clock and say, Gippy. I said, what? He said, man, I got to go to London. I said, what you mean? He said, man, Danger Mouse went to the radio, BBC, and played it on the radio. It's a smash. And I ain't see CeeLo for 5 years after that conversation.
Right.
So that's like kind of like how it was going then. It was kind of like everything was so sporadic. Our base, LA Reid, Babyface went back to LA went to New York. It was like, and the emergence of trap music started.